Hello, everybody. It's me again. It's me again, guys. I'm back to stream. It's 1 p.m. You know how it is. Yeah. So welcome back. We gotta wrap up our project today. So, project is gonna have to be done. Good morning, my dude. Good morning. Good to see you. As I was saying, we're gonna wrap up a project today, and this one I cheated a little bit. I spent a lot of time outside of the stream to build it because I was very curious about it. So yeah, I cheated on this a little bit. Spent a little bit too much time on it, to be honest. But let me show you guys what I have. Let me pop the chat out here. Pop the chat. And then here, let me see what else I got here. Okay. So we got this chat right here. And then we got me. Okay, we're chilling. So what have we been able to accomplish? A lot. So let me show you guys. Look at how much money I spent. Okay, so PNPM dev, I think it's already running. Yeah, it's already running. Good. So if I go to localhost, what I see here is my application, right? Hope you guys can see this. Why is my camera like that? Let me just fix it real quick. It's like cutting my face. So every time I boot this on, gotta fix it. But it's all good. Okay, hopefully that fixed it. If not, you're just gonna have to deal with it. Let's see. Okay. Whatever. But we're back, and we could choose between Cloud Code and Cursor CLI, yeah. And then here I'm gonna. Oh, we have dark mode, light mode now. So we turn on dark mode. Zoom in real quick. I'm gonna say, let's see what I want to do. So let's say I want Cloud Code to dissect this repo right here, right? I'm just gonna copy this. I'll be like, hello, can you discover this repo and give me the rundown of what happened in what it does, how the data flows, etc. And then we're gonna pass in the URL here. I'm just gonna increase this to maybe 10 minutes and then click on this. And we have this really nice status tracker here. Oh, hopefully this works. I don't think it does because I have to restart my dev server because this is now expired. So what happens is for our code base, when we run npm dev, we actually run a script to update our ODIC token with Vercel. For some freaking reason, we can't do that automatically, even though we need that for the Vercel sandbox to work locally. But I can show you guys what it looks like. It's this right here. So all it does is it runs like the Vercel CLI. And the problem with Vercel CLI is that when we do Vercel CLI link or pull environment variables down, it overrides our .env.local. So we need to write a script to kind of like temporarily put the variable from Vercel on the side and then copy it back in and not override our .env. I think Vercel's gonna fix this at some point, hopefully. See, so like we're gonna sync environment variables and then we're gonna update it, and then now we're back. So now we're back. This time it will actually work, I think. Okay, so let's go here. I'm gonna do there are flies in my apartment, guys. Explore this code base and tell me how the data flows. and then I want to give it 10-minute sandbox, and then start chatting with Claude Code. So we have this really nice status tracker here. Create sandbox, and now it's installing Claude Code, and now it's processing the first request. So we're using this interface for streaming on Next.js and AI SDK. It's very clean. We just write to the stream the data, and then we can then consume the stream very easily. I'll show you guys in a bit, but right now it's processing the first request, which could take a while, because behind the scenes, Claude Code would have to obviously, clone the repo and then run some preliminary kind of checks and read on it. So we also take a look here at what Claude Code has been able to do. But actually we can't, because there's no way to see it on the sandbox. If you guys know a way to stream or pipe intermediate steps out of Claude Code into the terminal, and then potentially stream from the sandbox out to our API endpoint, let me know, because I actually don't know how to do that. I can only grab the final result essentially. Claude Code SDK. I wonder if we were to write a TypeScript script here, we'll be able to stream that out. Yeah, so we can invoke that locally on a machine like this. And then I don't know if it supports streaming. The primary interface via TypeScript SDK is the query function, which returns an async iterator that stream messages as they arrive. Okay, so we might potentially write a script to catch this, to invoke Claude Code as opposed to running it as a terminal. So we would basically have a code base to run Claude Code like this as a node script. Yeah, so we'll see. Stream messages provided via standard input, where each message represents a user turn. This allows multiple turns of a conversation without relaunching the Claude binary, and allows providing guidance to the model while it is processing a request. Each message is a JSON user message, following the same format as the output message schema. Messages are formatted using the JSON-L format. Okay, so we can pass all this stuff into Claude Hitless, and we don't have to I guess rely on what's it called, thread ID, session ID. So there's a couple of reasons why we want to do this. For example, our sandbox dies, our front end can keep track of the messages history as it should, and then sandbox dies, we send in the request with the full messages history. I want to know if streaming is easy though. Process streaming messages. GitHub Actions integration. Common workflows. Understand new code base. Find relevant code. Fix bugs. Oh, this is silly. Resume previous conversation. Okay. Okay. Manage Unix style utility. Control output format. Okay. Create custom /commands. Personal /commands. Okay. Vercel sandbox streaming. Let me go back to this app real quick. Okay, so as you can see, it's already done. Let me zoom out real quick. So explore. So it processed the first request, right? Explore this code base and tell me how the data flow here works, right? And then Claude Code sandbag, based on my exploration of the homework grader code base, here's how the data flow works. Yeah. See if this makes sense because I built this. I know how it works. So it was able to clone it. And how do I know it was able to clone it? This is the fun part of this app, guys. So you go down here, you click on this, you switch to terminal mode, and you can be like, basically a Unix terminal, right? So you can be like ls, and then you'll see what the repo and stuff like that are in here, but it's nothing's in here, right? Whatever our path is, we're gonna go pick up D, see where we're at. So we're in /Vercel/sandbox. So we can do ls and then the folder before that, and wonder if we can do ls / bin just to see what's in it. Grid credential helper. Okay, so what about ls another level up? So this is our sandbox, guys. Like, we can send queries directly to it, and I've been able to put it so it's in the same chat history, which is really fun to look at. So I'm curious where the hell it cloned it to. So I can actually ask it. So I'll be like, where the heck did you clone the repo into? Give me the full path. So let's take a couple seconds, and as you can see, we can also track how much money we've spent on this as well. So to answer this silly question here, it cost me $0.6, guys. Insane. The repository is cloned to Vercel Sandbox homework grader. Okay. So what I can do is I can go to terminal mode. I can say ls this. See? So it's the repo actually was cloned onto the sandbox, and they give us back like this stuff. And just gonna cat the readme.md, see what it looks like. Yeah, so that's the readme file. I wrote this, so I know what it looks like. If you were wondering what this project is, it's basically a tool for me to grade people's homework using like essentially like agents. But yeah, like this project is hopefully complete. Our sandbox still has 6 more minutes, so you can run whatever we want in here. Every time we run something for the cloud, obviously it costs us money, but you can run sandbox stuff, so you can, like, you know, write stuff in there. I don't know if it has a Vim, but you know what I mean. So which Claude? So Vercel runtimes, Claude, no 22 main Claude. Yep. So yeah, I think I've already pushed this up to GitHub. So I'll probably make a YouTube video, kind of like detailing how I built this, and what are the components, some of the cool things that you can take away from this. Yeah, so, you know, this is what it is. I spent a whole week building this, and honestly too much time building this, just to make, most of it is honestly the UI, just to make the UI look nice. But I rely a lot on like the AI elements library from Vercel, so shout out to Vercel. But yeah, so I'll make a YouTube video about this. You know what I'll do? I'll actually like make it so that we could potentially like go into this, so I can, like, for example, like, you know, go back to this page, right? Refresh, and then I can resume previous sessions. I can do this. There's a bug here though. It's a bug here where it's like not like resuming properly, but you know, like I can chat with it again still. Yeah, so let's refresh this. Yeah, so chat, everything is saved locally to local storage on your browser. I love this status thing. It's like very nice. But yeah, like terminal mode, also add this. This is super cool. You know what I mean? Yeah, I forgot like what the path was, but stuff works. You know what I mean? It's a sandbox. You can interact with it. Yeah. If you have questions, let me know. But we're gonna wrap up this project. Maybe I'll add another task here where I'm like, I'm just gonna clean up this stuff real quick. So we pretty much accomplished everything here. As you can see, answers in the query. Yep. Issue is done. User doesn't have to input over and over. Yep. Done. User can ask question against get report. Yep. Makes sense. That is also done. Interface to chat back and forth. This is also done. Use the CLI continue feature as use it to clear thread. Yes, you can do that. You can clear thread here, so that will start a new thread, and then you can be like, maybe summarize the content of the actually draw. Oh, this is sandbox mode, so I'm gonna chat mode. Draw a quick ASCII diagram of the data flow. It should be super simple for any noobs to understand. Okay. Oh, status code 410. Okay, what happened here? Sandbox has stopped execution, is no longer available. Okay, so I guess this timer is not correct. Yeah. So let me just delete this real quick. So if I can't sand this, then yeah. So the sandbox has died. So this timer is not correct. So maybe I have to fix that. But yeah, so we pretty much have done all the stuff. There's some bugs, but we can definitely fix that. But we set out to put Claw on the cloud. We have managed to do that. So yeah, you can do whatever you want in life, I guess. What I do want to do though is I want to why is it still open? Okay, close issue. So what I do want to do though is I want to add another task here, another shape here, for future. You know what I mean? Because maybe I'll revisit this. I'll say user can ask the CLI agent to write code and create PR against their repo. In order to do this, I'll potentially ask the user to OAuth with GitHub, so we can get the access token for their GitHub repo, and then from there we can use that access token to essentially create a new branch, and then from that branch create a PR against the existing repo that the user gave the agent. And you know, Claude Code and these CLI agents can absolutely do that, no problem at all. So we'll do that, and then what we'll do is probably do something like let's see, at Gemini, user can use Gemini CLI or DeepSeek Codex, OpenAI, or DeepSeek CLI. And then maybe I'll probably deploy this on like, I don't know, Vercel. But then it'll cost me money because people will be like using my sandbox and shit. So maybe I'll have to limit it somehow. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, you've seen how this works. Take the code, use it. But yeah, so if you want to stick around, what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna answer questions if you have questions. While doing that, what I'll do is also I am going to write a quick script for this YouTube video live, because I want to make a video about this, talk about the architecture, how to use certain things, lesson learned type deal. So let me do that real quick. So I'm gonna create here. So I want to launch this video on Monday. Yeah. So let me do that. So I got a Notion page here open. I'm gonna go back here, and then I'll say YouTube video. Yep, it's a YouTube video, guys. It's gonna be what would the title be? CLI on the cloud. That's not gonna be the title of the video, but what I'll do is I'll create a few ideas for myself. So I'll say video title ideas. So I'll say something like I put all the coding agent CLI on the cloud. Something silly like that. Or I can say something like yeah, let me know in the chat if you have like a good title idea, because I am in desperate need of names. That's what I need. So I'm gonna read chat right here. So let me go back here, go back to my screen. We're gonna keep our stream to 30 minutes, and what I'll do is I'll spend about 10 minutes running this. I won't be here all day because it's Saturday, guys. It's Saturday. What am I gonna do today? Well, the stupid thing that I did was I was playing Satisfactory with my friend Leo until like 2:30 a.m. But we built this like crazy city, so never again. That's what we always say. But probably gonna hop on later today or later this week. If you play Satisfactory, let me know. But some titles, I'm gonna say something like how does Claude Code run hitlessly on Vercel Sandbox? Can Vercel Sandbox run Claude Code? Something like that. Or can Claude Code run on the cloud? Can Claude Code Cursor CLI and Gemini CLI run on the cloud? Can Claude Cursor CLI and can Claude Cursor and Gemini CLI run on Sandbox? Run on cloud sandboxes. I like where this is going. Can Claude Cursor? Can Claude and Cursor CLI run on between this one and this one, I wonder which one's better for a YouTube title. I tried putting Claude and Cursor CI on the cloud. I feel like this would create a curiosity gap. I try putting, and then you try, like, what happened, right? And then put a photo of my face going, I would never do that. I would never stoop that low, but I might. For $1, I might. Okay, so I think so far I like this one the most. I'm gonna highlight this. Try putting claw and cursor CLIs on the cloud. CLI. I try putting claw code and cursor CLI on the cloud. And what do I want to talk about? Content. So quick, TLDR, right? And then we have what is the TLDR actually? The other day I asked myself, does claw code have a headless mode? Turns out it does, and a few other agentic CLI tool have as well. For example, cursor CLI, Aider, etc. So I coming back from Vercel ship, I learned about Vercel sandbox, which are temporary sandbox environments to run to safely run AI generated code. Internally, Vercel uses this to run V0 code, and but I've always been fascinated with the idea of building reverse engineering the infrastructure that powers Devin or OpenAI codecs. So I decided to spend a week. This is not TLDR, this is intro. This is too much for a TLDR. Yeah. Let me know if the video is boring, because then I won't make it. Building this on live, on stream, and open source it. Here's how it went. Okay, so we need some arcs, right? So we gotta put like maybe like initial enthusiasm, and then we got setback number 1. Couldn't so this is all real things, by the way. This happened on stream. So couldn't install claw code. Right. So initial enthusiasm. So initially I used E2B because I wanted to not be relying on Vercel for because it's been around for longer. It's been around for sandbox because it's been around for longer than Vercel sandbox. A sandbox, the code is the SDK, their SDK is extremely easy to follow. open Claude Code headless mode. Documentation is great. It's called Claude Code SDK, and they and their team actually give a great presentation at the AI Engineer World's Fair earlier this year about this. The point of running Claude Code headless is to allow for automation and CI to work with Claude Code. Yeah. Setting up my I'm almost excited to try Vercel's, try this new components library built on top of ShadCN called AI Elements, which has components for a lot of common agentic tasks and chat interface, chat components that work out of the box. I used to spend a month on getting my auto scroll on my chat to work properly, and still couldn't get it perfect. This just works. This library just works. Setbacks, I couldn't get Claude Code to okay, so spinning up a sandbox was very straightforward and works right away. Shout out to E2B for that. Couldn't get Claude Code. Okay, so first setback, couldn't install Claude Code on first try. However, it was difficult to debug because when I sent the npm install, I forgot what it's called. Let's look it up. Claude Code SDK. Here. And the oh, how do I turn this into code block? Oh my god. npm Claude Code. Also, guys, check this out. I have this. I'm sure none of you guys have it because I'm a does everyone have this now, or is it just me? Like, I have this because I was given access, early access. I don't know if you guys all have that now or not. I guess you do. Maybe it's been announced, but anyways, that's besides the point. But into the sandbox, and it would just hung. Later on, after debugging, after thinking of a few potential issues, it was because the command was sent not without enough privileges, so I added sudo to it. What else went wrong? that was not the only issue. After I was able to install Claude Code onto the sandbox, I wanted to test it by running Claude P hello, as it says in the documentation for running hitless Claude Code. This in turns would freeze the sandbox output again. Turns out most of these providers work in similar ways, with some have more functionalities than others. You use their SDK to spin up a Linux machine, which has a designated timeout period. You can start it, stop it, send Unix commands to it, send files to it. Actually, I wonder if I can E2B send files. I wonder if I can just download or upload files, because then you can get files out of the sandbox, right? So E2B sandbox allows you to upload, download files to and from the sandbox. Oh, if only E2B worked, guys. If only E2B worked, then we would have this, and then we can tell Claude to like write a Python file and we can like download it out. You know what I mean? But it doesn't. So sandbox, read file sync, local file, sandbox create, await sandbox, write content. So I guess the content here would be like a binary file that we can, just send to it, stream to it. Upload, okay, download file. This is very important. Download a file. You need to first get the file's content and write it to a local file. Yep. Okay, write to local file and download. Okay, so SBS sandbox files read the file, write file sync, local file. Okay, download directory. Don't support an easy way to download. Okay, okay. But for Vercel sandbox, I don't think you can do any of that stuff yet. No, you don't think you can. Download, read file, read a file from a file system of this sandbox. Okay, write files. Okay, domain stop. So content, await sandbox, read download file B from the sandbox by absolute path. Okay, so I'm curious if it says read file. Could we use that to essentially like stream the binary content of the file out of the sandbox? Curious. Read these two docs from E2B and Vercel sandbox. E2B had explicitly said that we can download files out of a sandbox, but Vercel doesn't say so. However, the code to download files from E2B looks quite similar to what Vercel sandbox can do. Can you explain? Okay, I'm just gonna drop these two URLs in there. And then, okay, I just joined. What are you teaching? We just spent a whole week building this project that puts Claude Code onto our virtual sandbox on the cloud, and you can talk to it with a web interface. Right now, I'm preparing a YouTube video for that, and you'll watch the YouTube video. You'll see what the entire journey looks like, essentially. Okay, so short answer is it explicitly documents two ways to get files out of Sandbox. Programmatically read bytes from Sandbox and write them locally via bots read. Generate a pre-signed URL which using a secure sandbox to external clients like the browser can fetch. Okay. Vercel Sandbox exposes a file system API can read file content which can be piped to local storage or elsewhere by client code, but don't explicitly describe an export, download, helper, or pre-signed URL mechanism. Okay. In practice, both can move file bytes from Sandbox to the outside world. E2B calls this out and provides a higher level download story, including a pre-signed URLs. While Vercel's docs present a low-level primitive readable stream from read file and leave the download permission up to the caller. What each API actually provides: E2B download Sandbox, upload Sandbox files, write content. Okay, download programmatic constant content. Okay, download preset. So, but isn't this just like locally, as in like the Sandbox, or these are first class documented flows? Okay, read file, write file, example reference, ephemeral compute. Does this mean file export is possible via streaming bytes out? Yes, so that's what I thought. Piping to a local file or to an HTTP response in the server, but a higher level UX of issuing, but it's not part. Okay. While the code looks similar at the lowest level, both the products expose APIs to read content, file contents from either at runtime, write files, contents to runtime. Okay. So the download pattern in both looks like this: read file bytes from Sandbox, write code, write those bytes somewhere outside local disk, object storage, HTTP response. Okay. Vercel Sandbox server side call this, then pipe it to a local file on the controlling process, HTTP response. Okay. Object storage, Vercel blob. I'm curious if we can implement this. Let me just, because I need this. Let me go in Claude real quick. New chat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all this stuff into it. Okay. I'm trying to figure out how to implement, we need to get files out of Vercel Sandbox. Here's the research I've been able to do. Can you help with architecting this and write some code for me to download any file from Vercel Sandbox? Okay, so research. Oh, I guess. Just paste this stuff in here. And then here's also docs from Vercel Sandbox, so you know what the syntax looks like. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll copy this right here, paste it in here. Hopefully I'll run the web search tool to be able to get it. Boom. Okay. Okay. It's like that was too fast of an answer. Okay. Go back to Claude. Okay, so this is, I guess, how we could download a file out of that. Direct file download. Okay. Direct file download to local file system. Small BDM files. Download file. Okay. because we can like cat a text file and like get that out that way. That's also works. But yeah. Now let me create a Next.js API route example that demonstrates how to integrate with the web application. Okay. This is quite cool. What I'll do is download STS. What I'll do is I'll probably share this publicly to myself onto GitHub project, so I can add this as a task, essentially. Yeah, this is sick. I mean, I'm sure OpenAI has to do this at some point, because like whenever you do like code interpreter stuff, you have to like go to a sandbox, get the stuff out. So I'm sure this has been done before. Provide different export options. Oh, whoa. Okay. Yeah, probably do like, cause like depends on what kind of file Claude wants to write, right? So if it's a Python file, just a text file. If it's like, I don't know what other kinds of files it would be. Maybe potentially an entire code base, which needs to be zipped up using a few commands to zip the whole repo up and then send it to the user, right? So that's another use case. That we can get the whole code base out of the sandbox, essentially. But Claude is now stuck. So, okay, built in, environment set up core file manager, API route, right. Real-time file streaming. Okay, great. Cloud storage implementation. Advanced features. Batch download with progress tracking. Okay. Directory synchronization. Okay. Performance optimization. Troubleshooting. Okay. Okay. I shall publish this. Is it done? Publishing copy link. Okay, so I'm gonna go here to my shape here. I'm gonna add another one. User can download file out of the sandbox. Yeah, create new issue. Shape. Create. Export as notebook, repository, lib, docker, package. Oh, so you're saying that we need to run some sort of processes on the sandbox to be able to do all that and then get the user the file. I mean, it's probably doable. We just need to install Docker or some stuff on there. And if it's notebook, maybe like what's it called? Notebook NB or in some notebook NB or what's it called? Python Jupyter NBE. I forgot what it's called. What's the library that GitHub uses to display Jupyter notebooks? There's a command line for that too. NB viewer? No, it's something NB. NB convert, that's what it's called. Yes, NB convert. Yeah, so we can use something like nbconvert to do that. And again, like Claude can do all these things. Oh, thanks, man. Hey, keep going doing these live streams. I always watch recorded versions. Still helpful. Great. I thought nobody was watching this, but it's always funny because like when I check on recorded stuff, it's always like hundreds of people watching. I'm like, I guess that's the nature of streaming. Like people just watch it after the fact. Yeah. So new challenge. So you guys should put up a PR against this. Not this, but put out a PR against this project because it's open source. Like you can add stuff to it, and you know, if you're looking for a job or whatever, like it shows up on your GitHub repo. You're contributing to open source, blah blah blah. It's great. So, and I will review your repos. I mean your PRs, and I will accept them. It will show up on your commit history and all that. So if you want, please, like, this is the repo. Like, contribute. Make this go viral. But yeah, I think we added the task to allow user to upload or download files. Yeah, that's great. Let me go back to my YouTube script real quick. So I'm just gonna write out the draft here, and then we're gonna end it. So yeah, I spent all night debugging it, but it was difficult to do so since the sandbox would always freeze instead of erroring out properly. And I'm gonna add this here, and even download files off of them. Yeah. Wish my GitHub looked like yours. Look at all that green. Yeah, it's all. I wanna say, I would trade 30% or less of that for like 30% more sleep, because I should have slept better. But yeah. Just I don't know. Just contribute to my project, and it'll bump your greens up. Yeah, I will be happy to read your code. By the way, like Claude will also read your code. I'll put Claude on here so I can like do PR reviews. This internal free sandbox. Shout out to EB for building such a cool service. And then this, and then yeah, finally I caved and switched to Vercel sandbox, which I had more experience with. It finally worked. Finally, I ran out of solutions, and okay. E2B, Daytona, and Vercel, such cool services. Okay, and then number 3 would be any more setbacks that I could remember. Honestly, I can't. Like, what was like difficult about this? Set up other than like the sandbox stuff, everything else is just fine. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think so. Let's see. What do I name this? the comeback story. Okay. After fixing the sandbox issue, I was off to the races. I added, I can't remember what I did. Let me just pull out the app real quick. Okay, it looks like this. So there's some features for, oh, I also tested with the cursor. I also tested with cursor CLI to see if it was a cloud code problem but ran into the same issue. Yeah. So I added this. I added okay. Okay, so I can add another one here. I call it the setup. The entire application is a Next.js app with a few API endpoints that will allow for spinning up new sandboxes, retrieving sandboxes to resume conversation, and stopping sandboxes. This is how, okay. This is how the data flow works. User inputs an initial task for the agent as a prompt. User puts in their API key for either Claude or Cursor. These agents, these CLI tools require this. The front end sends this config to an API endpoint that would spin up, would do the following, spin up a sandbox environment, install the chosen CLI coding agent CLI, send the initial prompt to the agent, stream back the content, the results. At any given point, user can also interact directly with the sandbox by running Unix commands on it through a nice terminal interface. The sandbox has access to the internet, so the agent can clone GitHub repos, check the weather, whatever it may want to do. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I've made sure to leverage the AI elements library for status updates, for displaying sandbox status updates. Do I use AI SDK in this? Can't remember. Yes, I do. But do I actually use it? Yes, I do. Okay. I also use Vercel's AI SDK for streaming helpers and AI elements library plus Chatcn Tailwind for nice front end. Okay, I'll probably move this, supposedly put this down here, I suppose. Yeah. Yep, looks good. Okay, and then let me see. Okay, let me just go back here. I guess why, right? Why would this be useful? Maybe you want to deploy your own army of coding agents like Devin or Factory AI while leveraging existing state-of-the-art CLI agents like Claude or Codex, or yeah, I don't know if Codex is, it is probably is. Or you're one of those people who had been using Claude Code to automate marketing tasks like Swix tweeted. Then maybe you can wrap those functionalities up and package it into a product based on this. The possibilities are endless. Displaying sandbox status updates, streaming data from my API route to the front end, and with custom data, shout out to the AI SDK for making this easy. For the most part, Claude Code had helped me build a nice front end, and based on what I described to it, the project took a week, but now it's working, and you can spin up any CLI you want. Give it a task, even ones that require the internet, and let it run for as long as you want. Recently, LangChain, Harrison Chase from LangChain coined the term deep agent, which is a new category of agents that run for an extended period of time and do things like writing / committing crime code or deep research. If you take this project and build out a robust way to manage sandbox, you can absolutely build deep agents using this pattern. As far as I know, Vercel Sandbox is still beta, so you can only keep a sandbox running for about 45 minutes, but E2B can run up to an hour. And in between sandbox life cycles, you can always bring files out alongside messages history and spin up another sandbox to continue the task. Yeah. Shout out to my co-founder, chief architect engineer, Gemini 2025 Tech Stack. Same. Anyways, I'm gonna make this video before Monday. I'll launch it. Hopefully you guys will watch it. But this is the script for it. As you can see, I use AI a lot, but I actually don't use AI to write, like, ever. I think writing is like a way to shape the thinking, and if I don't want to write this stuff, why would I want to make it? So these are just my thoughts. I feel like people would be surprised that I don't use AI to write, other than maybe writing emails. I should probably start using AI to write emails, because my emails are a little bit terse. They're not very polite. So yeah. With that being said, here's my Discord. Hop on, hang out. I'm actually super hungry right now, so I gotta eat. But yeah, let's see. Where's my Discord at? Discord copied, paste in here. Alright, guys. Thank you for joining my stream. I will be back tomorrow, and the day after, and we'll probably be building something different. We'll see. Yeah, thank you for joining. First week of streaming. Oh my god. Finally figured out my audio and OBS and all that shit. But yeah, I'm ready to stream. So I'll see you guys later.